Hello there, and welcome to the Pint-Sized Healing Podcast. My name is Max Thompson. Let's get started. Yay, more on boundaries. Last week we talked about how boundaries aren't selfish, and I think that's kind of the number one stumbling block that a lot of survivors have to deal with. This idea that by setting personal boundaries, you're being selfish and you're going to end up alone in the world because nobody will accept you or love you because you are setting personal boundaries, which, like I said last week, is a ball of. I can't say that because it's on my podcast. Well, you know what I wanted to say. Anyway, swearing averted for today, for now. Another thing that I think a lot of survivors struggle with, or I at least hear them say a lot, is like, I'm just so bad at setting boundaries. Well, I really doubt that you are. You might not feel very comfortable about it, but are you really bad at setting boundaries? I think not, because really setting boundaries is about communicating what you want and what you don't want. And I think on average we are fairly strong communicators. We may go into kind of over justifying our boundaries more so than being really poor at communicating boundaries in general. It's just that we think they're selfish, and so we kind of, overextend ourselves. But think about it like this, right? When we're still in the situation with an abuser, or a toxic person, or whatever you want to call them, the first person that we're kind of starting to set boundaries with is likely this person, right? A person notoriously poor at accepting boundaries, right? So ask yourself the question, is it you that is bad at setting the boundary, or is it them that is really, really, really bad at acknowledging, respecting your boundary, right? I mean, sure, sticking to your guns, defending, guarding your boundaries, that's skills that you can learn, and that you should learn, especially because you're going to be dealing with someone who's going to keep trying to, overstep and get you to give up on that personal boundary that you've set. And so, yeah, that's a skill set that you need to develop. But understand that you need to develop it not because you are necessarily bad at determining where your boundaries are, but because they are really bad at accepting that people have personal boundaries. Normal, healthy, happy people, when you say no to something, or when you prioritize your life in a certain way, are able and willing to accept that because they are, just normal, happy, healthy people, right? And if it's a boundary or if it's a priority that they don't agree with, okay, so that might lead to, hey, this friendship isn't working because, we just have such different ways of viewing the world and of dealing with things, and that's fine too, because that's, like if someone doesn't fit in with how you want your life to be, then maybe they shouldn't be in your life, or maybe that friendship takes a different form, or whatever. But really that idea that you're bad at setting boundaries, I think it stems mostly from the fact that you're dealing with at least one person in your life, but probably, it's the abuser and like an army of flying monkeys who are constantly trying to attack your boundaries. And so you're constantly trying to defend those boundaries, and it's a lot of hard work. And there's skill involved that maybe, you need to work on a little bit, but at the same time, that still doesn't make you bad at boundary setting. It just makes you exhausted from having to defend your boundaries against all these people that keep attacking your boundaries. So, that's a thought to have, or something to kind of, spark some thinking around boundary setting, and how good or how bad you are at it. And with that, I will leave you for another week. Next week I'll be back. We'll be talking a bit more about boundaries, surprisingly enough. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you then. Bye.